This segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your partner is good health. Hello again, everyone. I'm Martin Folse, and welcome to Bayou Time once again. On a sad note, from time to time I come on here and talk about those that made a difference in my childhood, or for that matter, all the surrounding neighborhood of Mulberry, Barrios, Lemoore, Plantation Gardens, you name it, Mr. Norman Zeringue made a difference. And there you see Mr. Norman in his younger days. He was born August 24th, 1926, passed away on May 2nd, 2025. And while we keep his picture up, I will talk a little bit about Norman Joseph Zeringue, 98. He passed away, like I said, on Friday, May 2nd. He was a native of Raceland, Louisiana, and a resident of Houma. And the family and friends all were invited, and a large majority of them attended on Thursday, May 8th from 9 a.m. until service time, which was at Chauvin Funeral Home, and a liturgy of the word was followed on Thursday with the burial taking place at St. Mary's Nativity Catholic Church Cemetery in Raceland, Louisiana. Mr. Norman is survived by his loving family, his wife, Miss Julia Albert Zeringue. A lot of people know Miss Julia very well. And son, Douglas. He is preceded in passing by his parents, Freduche and Henrietta Dantin Zeringue, and many loving brothers and sisters. Mr. Norman had a joy for life. He enjoyed hunting, fishing, and working in his garden. His first job was farming on the family's farm. He joined the service and served in El Paso, Texas in the 1950s. After his service in the United States Army, he worked with Chevron Oil Company until his retirement after 25 years of dedicated work. And the family wanted to make sure that I mentioned to thank Terrebonne Healthcare, Adel Medical, and the many family, friends, and staff who assisted the family in their time of need. Just a few things about Mr. Norman. Of course, we grew up, like I've said often on this program, on 19 Austin Drive. Right across the street, sort of catty-corner to us, were the Haydels, Dr. Jerry, Miss Jean, and that whole contingency of sons and daughters. Right next to the Haydels was Mr. Norman and Miss Julia. Now, going back, and I know a lot of people in Mulberry will remember this. If you had a medical problem or you needed a shot, you walked across the street to Dr. Jerry's house. No problem. He'd pull out that old leather bag, give you a shot, send you on your way. If you needed mechanics, if you needed someone to look at your boat motor, if you needed someone to look at something electrical in your house or something mechanical, who would you call? Mr. Norman Zeringue. He was really very talented when it came to that. He was really a buddy to everybody. Didn't matter if you were rich or poor, no matter what realm you walked in life, Mr. Norman was just that kind of guy. Just had to give him a call and he would go look at it. There were a couple of occasions, of course, when I moved back by Sandy Beach, and Daddy would always come fishing or crabbing with me in that area. Well, there were a couple of occasions where I called Mr. Norman and told him that the fish were biting. And him and Dad would go out there and catch a few fish. And I remember the last time they were able to do it when Dad was living, they were hooking onto these big drum. And you should have seen those two guys having fun bringing in those large drum in the back by Sandy Beach. You would think they had a tarpon on the line, but it didn't matter to them. They were releasing them anyway. It was just the fun of having two buddies together and making sure they could bring the fish in, and a little bragging rights on who would catch the biggest. And I'm not going to tell you who caught the biggest on that day. That's irrelevant. The relevance of it was they were out there having a good time. When I told a few of the Haydels that Mr. Norman passed away, their exact quote, "Oh, that was Dad's good friend." If my dad was still living and I were able to tell him that Mr. Norman passed away, he would have said, "That's my good friend." If you go down the street in Austin Drive and tell them that Mr. Norman passed away, they would tell you, "Yeah, that was my good friend." Mr. Norman was a good friend to all of us. He had that sort of stoic look, that tall stature, good-looking fella, by all accounts, back in the day, but didn't mind telling you what was on his mind. If he thought it was something with that engine that was wrong, doggone it, it ended up being that part of the engine that was wrong. He was very talented when it came to that. He also was a great father, a great husband, and a great friend to many. As once again, we say goodbye to Mr. Norman Zeringue, who, by all accounts, I don't know anybody on Austin Drive who would have had anything ill to say about Mr. Norman. He was that type of guy. Our condolences, of course, to Miss Julia and Douglas and his entire family and friends. May Mr. Norman rest in peace. This segment was brought to you by Cardiovascular Institute of the South, providing our patients the highest quality cardiovascular care available.